Okay, class. We are going to demonstrate what we learned about sexual consent. Now I need 2 volunteers.
Pick me, Mr. Harris, pick me.
Me too, Mr. Harris, me too.
Pick me.
Okay, Frank, I pick you. Andrew, I can't have 2 guys. That's a sin.
Oh, God damn it.
Plus, you're not 21. Okay. Now I'm going to need 1 other volunteer.
Oh.
And how about Mandy? I pick you.
Okay, I'm not sure if this might be an issue, but I got my once-a-month friend yesterday.
You know, Mandy, you are not very good at whispering. And you have nothing to worry about that won't affect the demonstration.
Doesn't bother me neither.
Frank, you're nasty. All right, kids. Now, what is the first stage of sexual consent?
Verbal consent.
Yes, verbal consent. Now, I brought some note cards for y'all to read off of.
Okay.
And you guys are going to read these. And action.
So, fill in name. I have decided that I would like to have sexual relations with you. And this is my consent to it. At this time, are you also able to give your own consent to sexual relations?
Oh, okay, but I'm on my period.
Oh my God, cut! Mandy! As I said earlier, honey, that won't affect the demonstration. You're not going to have sex with Frank. Just read what's on the card. Go ahead.
Okay,
Action.
sure, fill in the name. I will consent to have sexual relations with you, mostly because I am too drunk on wine coolers to say no.
Nice.
No, Frank! Not nice. Opposite of nice. We've been through this. Class, if alcohol is introduced, what happens?
Nothing. Not a darn thing.
Yes, not a darn thing. There is no sex if there is alcohol or drugs.
Okay, although I gotta say, my daddy always said Budweiser is the best lubricant.
Okay, Frank! We're just going to move on to the next card. Now, Mandy, Frank has given you his consent. Now he's awaiting yours.
Yes, I am accepting your consent for sexual relations, and I'm also giving my consent to the sexual relations.
And now we must take out a smartphone and document our sexual consent.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Cell phones?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I give consent to Mandy for sexual relations.
And I am accepting Frank's consent for the sexual relations and offering my consent as well.
Of which I agreed to.
I mean, there it is right there. I mean, that is textbook consent.
Yeah.
Remember, guys, filming consent is considered visual record.
Oh.
And it holds up in court. So, Donnie.
Yeah. Now, let's say, what if, like, she's giving consent on camera and all, but, your buddy's right off camera and he's got, like, a baseball bat and a mean-ass pit bull or something, and, well, that's the only reason she's giving consent. I mean, technically, it's on camera and she's saying yes. Is that considered consent?
Donnie, I have a series of questions. I'm going to start with the obvious one. What made you think of that?
I was just asking for a friend.
Okay. Well, you must be friends with R. Kelly. Okay, class. Now, after we have that type of consent, what is the next stage of consent?
Consent on activities.
Yes, consent on activities. Just because they agree to have sex doesn't mean that every activity is on the table. Now, I need you both to write down what activities you are into before fornication. I have a pen for you right here.
Oh,
All right. Do you need more paper, Frank?
What's a rusty trombone again?
How about we leave that one out?
All right, I'm done then.
Okay, Frank is done, Mandy's done. Now I'd like you both to switch papers and initial on the activities that you approve of.
Ew. Ew, I don't know. Mr. Harris, I don't know what this one means.
Frank, what the fuck?
A guy's got taste, Mr. Harris.
Okay, well, I agree to this one, and this one, and maybe this one, but I want to see how the first two go first.
Okay, full understanding, and you live your best life. Okay, guys. After that, what is the final stage of consent?
Notary. Get a notary. Yes. Notary.
Get it notarized.
Yes.
Let's say before you have sex, there just so happens to be a notary person. Mr. Fishbean is actually a notary man as well, so thank you for being a part of this demonstration.
Yes, I'm a notary as well as a teacher. Teaching pays dick, kids.
Okay, Mr. Fishbean, can you just look over the documents and give it that little notary stamp?
Wait, say this. All right. You sign at the bottom. Notarized! That's what it's going to feel like.
That was the most aggressive notary I have ever witnessed. Now that it has been notarized, class, they are free to have sex.
All right.
Frank, if you pull your dick out.
Let's